Hey everyone, let me make sure this fucking shit is on. Yes, it is. It's been a little while, but your boy has been going through some pretty hard times. I'll make that very, very hard times. Excruciating, but fuckedly hard times. I have a confession for you all. I don't know, how consistently people are following this channel, but if you'll recall my last update, if any number of you saw that one, that was a pretty spicy one. It was pretty mucho caliente, I would say. I was very mad in that one. I was very angry, and I can't believe it had been this long since I made that one. I was thinking, God, the more time that goes by and I don't leave an update, I think people are going to think I either killed myself or committed homicide, or maybe both. Or, I was pissed. I was unhinged. And I'm not used to letting people see that side of myself. And especially on a channel where, it's in the name Self Love. We don't usually associate love or somebody who takes on that sort of moniker. We don't associate that kind of thing or stuff with that kind of, very, intense vibration. But I figured, outside of this channel, it is very loving to own exactly how you feel when you feel it. And as much as I wanted to delete that video over the course of the last, I guess, a couple weeks now, if that's how long it's been, and just be like, and just delete my whole channel, I was like, that is fake as fuck, my dude. Don't go doing that. And also, I would want to see that side of things. If somebody was if they really meant it, they really gave a fuck about other people and respecting the self-love process and actually doing what it takes to wake up and grow up and facilitate their own awakening, and to actually continually commit to self-loving actions. I feel like there's nothing more self-loving than honoring how you feel, even if you're in a place of very deep despair and powerlessness. So just wanted to say that had to do with something I was getting at. I felt it was relevant to bring that up because I have been noticing more and more of my own shadow lately. That has been a huge theme. Think of just this whole year, really. Maybe this whole past year, too, a lot of 2024. I've noticed my negative impact on the people in my life, the beings in my life. I'm a father of 2 furry children. I don't own human children. I'm not a human father. I'm not the father of human children. You get what I'm saying. But I am the father of 2 cats who are very much adult cats at this point. And I don't want to make this too long, but I did want to mention this because it ties into the theme of owning your own badness. My kitties came to me at a time in my life where I've been taking care of them since I was 20. And so, let's see, I'm 32 now. I just turned 32, by the way, about a little over a week ago. So that's great. I'm still alive. But anyway, that's not the point. don't want to get distracted. Yeah, so that's what, 12 years? Yeah. And I've made my fair share of mistakes. You know, when they came into my life, that's what I was saying. I didn't want to have that sort of responsibility. Yes, they're cats, so they're on the lower tier of, in terms of how many needs they need to have met and how often. And you can imagine, I mean, compared to like a human baby or even a dog, that's not as many responsibilities that you'll have to constantly check off the list. But nonetheless, it was a lot of upkeep. And anyway, one of my kitties now they have cancer, and I feel responsible for my kitty's early death in terms of how much trauma I probably caused that kitty by not knowing how to parent them in the most level-headed way. Let's just put it that way. I will spare you the details. I'm going to spare myself the details, because I was sitting down with myself questioning, how much should I go into that? But all I'll say is I've made a huge number of mistakes in regards to trying to discipline them, which basically translates to me yelling at them a whole lot to stop doing certain things, and one kitty in particular over the other. One cat, and I've learned recently that, yes, in fact, if you have a cat, you have a pair of two cats, you'll have one that is dominant and then the other one that's kind of the follower cat, the beta male cat. And so the dominant one, the alpha cat, always, he triggered the shit out of me. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I did not handle it well. I'll just say that. And so it's only now, just to, not to, the point really is, of this video is about taking responsibility of your own shadow and your own badness. Because I realized that, my other cat, they're both the same age, and yet one cat, who I know for a fact did not get as much hell from me, and in terms of me wanting to discipline him into stopping certain negative behaviors, that one cat is far healthier in appearance and energy, still looks really good and healthy. They're both, keep in mind, they're both 12 and some change years old, and then the other cat is dying of cancer. But again, they both, it's just one of those things. It's like, who knows? But I wouldn't want to, if I were my cat, the one that's currently dying of cancer, I wouldn't want the person who caused me a lot of hell, I'll just put it that way, to not feel bad, or to not want to reflect on that, and to then, moving forward in their life, I would want that person to think very carefully about how things were handled during that time, and to go in the opposite direction moving forward in their life. And so that situation that is still unfolding right now, devastating. Devastating. And it ties into one of the main things that made me realize I have fucked up a number of times in my life. Like, I mean, really fucked up. I'm not going to get into those details right now. But rest assured, your boy has fucked up. Your boy has been a bad boy, bad person many times in his life. And so, what is the actual answer to that? Because I could just beat myself up. I could go on some sort of campaign where I'm like, I'm going to dive into every shadowy thing I've ever done. And I remember a number of things that I've done that have hurt people. You know, and get society, my friends, family, anybody else who cares to focus in on that to, you know, draw and quarter me. That's a solution, right? That's something that I think, you know, a number of people have made it very clear they care about. Okay, what does that actually solve? You know, as much as I hate myself when I think about the kinds of ways that I've hurt people and ripped people off, lied to people, and generally made this world a worse place. As much as I would like to throw myself to the wolves, it's like, that doesn't really solve this issue on the planet of people, you know, ripping others off, taking advantage of them, abusing them, whatever, traumatizing them. What actually solves the problem is to get to the root within yourself of what's going on. And for the sake of not taking too much more of your time, I think I'll be speaking more on this in future updates. I've done a number of... I've done some research earlier today, and I've known this about myself prior, but it's really become clear today. Really doing the deepest dive I've done on this subject so far. I am a codependent. I fall on the codependent side of the spectrum in terms of on the narcissism spectrum. What I have learned, and I've heard this before, but it really makes sense now, and shout out to Teal Swan, wherever you are, once again. I watched a video on, I forget exactly what it's called, but it kind of compares, or it discusses the dynamic between codependents and narcissists, and how codependency is just a really covert form of narcissism. So, in essence, I am a covert narcissist, which makes so much fucking sense. And anybody who falls on the codependent side of the spectrum, congratulations, you're a narcissist too. And again, I would love to, and I will, actually, that's my commitment to you, to dive further into this subject and kind of go down the line of how I realized, shit, I am pretty much a narcissist, just capable of empathy, like deep empathy and compassion. It's just, there's also that unconsciousness there, that vampirism, that callousness. It's a very dual. I'm also a Gemini, so that's really fun. But for the sake of not bogging you down with too much more information, I just wanted to make an update about how big of a deal it is to me to have come to this conclusion. You know, realizing I am, in essence, a covert narcissist because I'm on the codependent side of the spectrum. I feel so goddamn relieved. You have no idea. Because I'm like, well, I've been thinking lately, who else do I know? The feedback I've been given, and I've gone into this in a previous update several months ago. I'm like, why does it take me forever to make even the slightest change in my life? I'm moving at the slowest pace. What other kind of person do I know that moves at such a, or is like almost pretty much incapable of change, or like looking at the most vulnerable part of themselves? I'm like, a narcissist. Narcissists, they don't look at themselves. They don't take accountability for the ways in which they hurt people. And it made me realize, like, well, I don't think I'm explicitly a narcissist, but there's definitely like a strong air of narcissism within me and about me. I'm like, but I'm not quite a narcissist, though, based off of things that I've read. But it's like yes and no. Like, in certain ways, codependency. Being a codependent, that's a covert narcissism. I'm like, I am moving at the same rate and evolving as a person at the same rate as somebody with narcissistic personality disorder, and that I am really not changing my behavior and my belief systems at all. But the difference is now I can do something about it. And so this is really exciting. I know I might seem like I'm not as excited. I've been stoked. It's brutal. It's brutally painful, but it's like, no wonder I've caused all this hell towards myself and towards so many people in my life. So many broken and failed relationships. You can't heal your life if you don't address the root cause. And huge part of the main lens I'm looking through when I'm looking at everything in my life is through the lens of codependency, which is covert narcissism. So I am the Self Love Gangsta, and I am a covert narcissist. Have a nice fucking day. More updates will be coming soon. Peace.